So we are continuing our exploration of equanimity today. It's the seventh and the last of the awakening factors. And the practice of equanimity feels pretty alive for me these days. My understanding of it is deepening, especially as I'm trying to skillfully navigate living in this world the way it is today, as well as facing some of my own life circumstances. It's a challenging practice. That's what I'm finding, because it's counter to our very habitual way of being. Our reactivity is so deeply wired within us, whether we're experiencing positive or negative or neutral things, we react. We get thrown off center by wanting more, wanting less, just spacing out, or just not caring in some way. And equanimity is asking us to hold our experience without these kinds of reactions, to be with things just as they are without grasping or rejecting or spacing out, and to be with all of them in a steady and balanced way. It's not something that comes easily or consistently. We orient ourselves in this direction. We remember our aspirations to be balanced. And we do rest for a moment or two in that space, and then we lose it. So we have to gather our aspiration and begin over and over again. And that's how it is. I personally find it helpful to find supports for myself, reminders maybe that feed my aspirations and that orient me this way. Certainly, we lean into all of the preceding awakening factors. As we say so often, they all feed into each other and support each other. And today I want to offer a few other ideas that have helped me recently. I just came across this short vignette from Sharon Salzberg, and I don't think it's new. Maybe you've heard it, but I hadn't heard it before. And it really touched me and was helpful. So she says, one time when my colleague, Joseph Goldstein, and I were visiting a friend in Houston, we all went out to a restaurant to order takeout. As we were waiting for the food to be prepared, Joseph struck up a conversation with the young man working behind the counter. After a few minutes, he told Joseph that he'd never left Houston and went on to describe somewhat passionately how his dream was to one day go to Wyoming. When Joseph asked him what he thought he would find there, he responded, open, expansive space, a feeling of being unconfined with peacefulness and freedom and room to move. Joseph responded, there's an inner Wyoming too, you know. At that point, the young man fixed a stare at Joseph and said, that's freaky, as he sidled away. So Sharon goes on and says, but there is an inner Wyoming, a potential for openness, spaciousness, clarity, and freedom that exists within each of us. For me, imagery like this is a way of getting below a lot of words to help evoke a quality of mind and heart. Wyoming, or whatever place is evocative for you, may offer a felt sense of equanimity. I remember the first time I drove across the country and being so moved by the vastness of the plains of Wyoming. The landscape communicated a quality of openness, peacefulness, calm, and balance, as if the landscape itself was not holding on to anything. or pushing anything away, but receiving whatever arose in the moment and letting it move through, like a storm passing through. So that works for me, but perhaps you're less visual. And a phrase spoken quietly to yourself helps you to guide your mind and heart in the direction of equanimity. Maybe it's something like, things are just as they are. Or maybe it's just this. Just this. I think another idea that people use is either let it go or put it down. Put it down in this moment and gently put it down again and again. We have to really play with it and explore and find the phrase that speaks to us. Right now, for me, I especially like this one from Michelle McDonald. It's okay. And even when it's not okay, it's okay. When we're feeling agitated or angry or overwhelmed with grief or despair or scared, when nothing feels okay, it's still okay. That's the spaciousness of equanimity. Within it, everything is okay. Things are not and cannot be any other way, and that's okay. There's something that, for me, is so reassuring and touching to me about that phrase. So I want to share with you an example where I'm kind of living day by day that phrase. My husband had surgery a little over a week ago. He had a knee replacement. And I'm the caregiver as he heals and is able to be independent again. I've been in this role many times in the past with both of my parents as they were dying, with my siblings after surgeries. And I thought I knew how to do it. I felt that I knew how to be supportive and warm, and I was pretty competent. I even told my friends that I didn't need meals delivered because I was sure I could handle cooking. So, needless to say, my expectations of myself were not quite on target. They were far from the truth. And actually, I found myself being far less than perfect. I was really tired because we were up many times in the night. So throughout the day, I found myself being very short with Dan. I hovered sometimes when he was getting around on his walker because I was concerned that he might lose his balance and fall. And I think that drove him a little nuts. And I had to walk the dog, clean up the house, gather the wood, light the wood stove, answer emails. And through it all, I carried this kind of oppressive sense of responsibility. And my mind was catastrophizing all the things that could happen, which really just made me more nervous. I was so full of judgments. My mind was racing and my belly was tight. I was not feeling at all open and spacious like Wyoming. And I definitely wanted to be other than I was in those moments. And then that phrase I'd been practicing with came to mind. It's okay. Even when it's not okay, it's okay. The reminder to put my worries down and just let things unfold. It's okay. Equanimity can hold this, all of this. My imperfections that do not feel okay, we're okay in this field of equanimity. And I wonder if you can see that with this change of perspective, that compassion can arise. Just recognizing what I was carrying softened my heart. Sharon Salzberg notes that equanimity offers us the freedom of letting down the burden we have been carrying. It leaves room for our fundamentally loving hearts to uncoil and lead us onward. And I felt that. No question that there's a feeling of vulnerability in putting down our expectations of perfection that we've been carrying for so long. Letting go of that tightness in our body and the racing in our mind, it takes us into unfamiliar territory. But slowly we get it. Equanimity can hold us, and our hearts can stay open and respond. It's the perfection that's able to hold all of the imperfection. And I think it's obvious, but this perspective, of course, is relevant to much more than caregiving. It's all those times when we want to be perfect, but feel less than that. It's in our relationships, it's at work, maybe in a conversation that didn't go well, when we got angry and wished we hadn't. Equanimity can hold all of this. Thoughts and wishes for perfection will still arise in the mind. And those catastrophic thoughts of what might go wrong also might arise. But our relationship to the thoughts can change. If we can feel that everything's okay, even when it's not okay, that it's okay, we might be able to hold our thoughts and feelings more spaciously in our own Wyoming. And over time, they won't carry the same power over us. Eventually, what's happening inside us, whether it's pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, will become somewhat irrelevant to how we respond because we're able to hold all of our experience spaciously. It does take time and it takes practice. It takes remembering over and over. But if we aspire to it, to this direction, not to be perfect, but to move in this direction of equanimity, then there's the possibility of finding peace in the midst of any situation. So thank you all for listening. And why don't we transition into some practice and begin to really practice with equanimity here and now. So everybody's doing their thing. Thank you. We all know that we first bring our attention to our bodies, offering them what they need to be open, relaxed, alert. I really think that if we don't have openness within our body, it's much more challenging to have openness in mind and heart. And as you're ready, slowly bringing yourself into relative stillness. and letting yourself settle into this moment. Feeling yourself in this place. Noticing how you're held in spaciousness, both externally, all the space around you, in front, in back, above, to your sides, below. But also the spaciousness inside. Bringing your attention to your inner landscape. And just noticing how it is today. And however it is, it's okay. As your body settles and rests, inviting your mind to also settle and rest. And inviting you to just play perhaps with a phrase that might orient you in the direction of equanimity. Whether it's put it down every time your mind goes off, just gently noticing it and saying, put it down. Or maybe it's just like this. Whatever it is, it's just like this. Or it's okay. Noticing where the mind is holding on or pushing away, even if it's subtle, wanting something maybe slightly different than the way things are. And when you notice that, just putting that thought down. Opening to just the way it is. resting in that felt sense of spaciousness, where phenomena are just arising and passing away. Thank you all.